So I went through your searches, like I did some SEO, search engine optimization. My mother's school fees did not go to waste. And I was looking at the things you've been searching about depression, and I said, oh my God, let me tackle them. And how I want to do this is I want to compare what research actually says about depression and my own experience of it. And I want to do a comparison. So the things that I found that few people are looking for are, how do you know you are depressed? That is the question one that I found. The other one is, what are the signs and symptoms? At what age can you get depressed? What circumstances causes depression? How can you treat it? How can you find help? Where can I learn more about depression? So I'm going to be tackling those questions one by one as I compare them from my own experiences. Disclaimer, all of these signs that I'm going to be mentioning to you do not always happen to every person who is depressed, okay? Some people will experience less of those. Some people will experience many of them, and maybe some other people will experience all of them. So how do you know? How do you know that you are depressed? Actually, there are many signs and symptoms that have been mentioned with research, and I categorized these ones into what will come earlier and what will come later. Okay, let me just label them. Early signs of depression. Number one, you're going to have increased anger. This is what research says, okay? And did I experience that? Yes. I actually used to think I would describe myself as being temperamental. So I would get easily, not like easily, how can you explain it? Have you ever annoyed somebody, offended someone, and then they like act as if they have snapped? That's what I'm talking about. I used to behave like I'm snapping. Yeah. So you could get easily angered. There is also feeling irritated. Did I experience feeling easily irritated? Yes, I did. I used to feel irritated very fast. You would do something you actually did not have an intention to offend me or irritate me, but it would irritate me. Why? Because it triggers something. There's a lot of triggers when something happens to you that triggers your memory to something, or you can associate to something, then it's going to irritate you. And so you have irritability issues, okay, because things are being triggered. Notice that people with depression will never, almost certainly, they will never come to you and say, oh, I am depressed. So these are things that they keep within themselves. And so you can easily trigger them without knowing. So you get easily triggered. If you find yourself getting easily triggered, you need to be watchful, because chances are you are having the early signs of depression. Increased use of alcohol. I'd like to say, personally, I wasn't affected by that, but I was tempted. And I took alcohol for a bit of time, but my body and alcohol, two different things, two WhatsApp groups. Okay, so I was lucky in that sense because I did not become alcoholic because I do not like it. Okay, so apparently this particular early sign is seen mostly in men. Men are more likely to become addicts or to have an increased use of alcohol and drugs than women. I'm not saying that women do not find themselves there. So yeah, that one is a sign. It didn't happen to me, but it usually can potentially happen to other people. And I think I have seen other people being affected by it or showing those signs. Okay. So the other one is inability to meet responsibilities of work or ignoring other important responsibilities. This is what research says. And I did a slash of overworking. I did that because personally, I did not experience inability to meet responsibilities of work. On the contrary, I used to over dedicate myself to work. If I am working for a certain company, I am doing extra. Okay. So I wasn't like having an inability to perform, but I was overperforming. That is because I was trying to hide and bury into something that I am doing. I'm trying to escape my mind. I'm trying to escape all these things. So I find myself overworking. Usually there are people you think that they are trying to look good. They are trying to, be loved. Like they are doing too much. I used to do too much. And if I look back, this started earlier on. It started in school because when I was in primary school, I realized that I would bury myself into the books. I would read, I would perform. I was a performer. Okay. People who went to the same school with me can remember me as a kid who was performing. I used to be called in front there, get gifts. I was performing. So there is that. The next point is isolating from friends and family. I like that they are saying this is an early sign. For me, this one was not an early sign, really. Was it? I don't think it was an early sign. This, for me, it came later than earlier. So I am hoping that some people will isolate earlier than others because they must have conducted this research on some people. Okay, for me, this one came a bit earlier, not like in the beginning. In the beginning, I didn't isolate myself. In the beginning, I actually pretended. I wore a face. I wore strength. Like I wanted to present myself as a very happy person, a very strong person. That was how I presented myself. I didn't isolate. However, it is a sign, but for me, it's not an early sign. However, it has found me, and I have dwelt in this stage for some time. So, yes, it is a sign. The other one is greater impulsivity. I don't know. I don't know what you would think about this particular one because greater impulsivity means the tendency to act without thinking really about the consequences of something, or maybe saying something without thinking about the consequences of something. I'm talking about impulse, like impulse buying. That's the meaning of it, like impulsivity. But here we are talking about impulsivity in actions and impulsivity in words. Okay. Personally, this was not an early sign. Personally, I did not have greater impulsivity in the beginning, but I had impulsivity when I am already down into depression for a number of years. So I started to get this impulsivity sometimes. And actually, the impulsivity started happening to me much later. Earlier on, I was very stingy to myself. I think this would happen to every African firstborn. We end up being very stingy to ourselves because we have a lot of things that we feel like we need to do for a lot of, for others than we would need to do to ourselves. So really, I did not experience in the early stages impulsivity. However, years later, I started to experience it where I am just lying and maybe I'm feeling down, and then all of a sudden, because there is a shift of moods that happens, all of a sudden I feel like I want to try. Like for example, last time I can remember, I came here and I told you that I'm working on myself and I'm trying to become better, to better myself. And there are days that I will wake up and tell myself, I said I am going to better myself. So today I'm going to get out. I will go to this and that place and I will go get this and these things. And then I just go there and I'm just impulse buying. Sometimes you feel like this thing is going to bring you some sort of joy or happiness, but then does it? I don't know. Anyways, I don't know for many people how they experience that. About impulsivity with words, that is where it gets me. Because normally what I realized for me, I started to have no need to sugarcoat things. I started to have no need, zero willingness, not even willingness, tolerance to hypocrisy and pretense. And so if you offended me, you would trigger me telling you the entire truth that I had wanted to tell you the entire year. Okay, since the day I laid my eyes on you. So you easily trigger that, and I felt like that's how I think I have behaved with greater impulsivity. I usually find that I am telling you the truth. I do not mince my words. I just tell you. And I just tell you. That's that. I don't keep things to my heart anymore. So you could say it's impulsivity, but I offload very much often, especially if people are offending. If you offend me, you're going to realize that I offload very much often. So maybe that is impulsivity. That is according to me. Now, let us move to the signs of depression after you have had it for some time. Clinically, they allow you to be in the depression category and not stress and stuff when you have had these signs persistently for over 2 weeks, having them persistently. But I am saying in those 2 weeks, I would say that you are having early signs, because some of us have a different story. So if you have been in it for some time, then you're going to realize that according to the research, you have persistent sadness, anxiousness, and empty mood. Did I experience that? Yes. However, persistent sadness, do not wait to see any depressed person sad. Don't wait. It's not like they are not sad, but you'll never see it, because out there they are carrying a different face. They are like carrying themselves differently to try and portray something that you want to see it. Okay. And I thought that I caught myself in one moment when I was really feeling down. I'm not saying like, well, it's sad, but feeling down, for me, I would call it down than sad. Okay, maybe it's sad. I want to show you before the behind the scene, and then the video. That way you will understand that actually you will never see them sad. The number 2 thing, feeling of hopelessness and being pessimism, like you're just thinking negatively. Hopelessness, personally, I did not experience. I cannot say I have experienced hopelessness at any point, but in place of that, I have experienced empty mood, that is not feeling, just there, not feeling. What will I eat tomorrow? Not feeling any fear about what I will eat and what will happen, just not feeling. And I remember I used to have this boyfriend and he told me that I am cold. Okay, I think I can't blame him, because it would look like cold, but actually you don't feel anything. You don't feel angry, you don't feel sad, you don't feel happy, you don't feel nothing. And I don't know if you have experienced that, but it's just that. Frustrations, yes, I have felt frustration and restlessness. To me, this did not come like as an after some time. This came as an early sign, the restlessness, where you feel something is really bad, but you don't know what. So that one came earlier on for me. Frustration, yes, you do feel frustration, especially people who are kind-hearted, people who were brought up well. They get frustrated a lot because the society is trying to turn them into something that they are not ready into becoming. So I think that one also is something. It could be like a risk factor, but do you feel it? Yes, you do feel it. I felt it. For me, I felt it. Feelings of guilt, worthlessness, and helplessness. Honestly, I don't think I ever felt guilty. Did I ever feel guilty? No, I didn't ever feel guilty for me, but I understand it's possible to feel guilty. Worthlessness, I don't feel like I ever felt worthless, but I felt emptiness. And the empty mood can overshadow other feelings. Maybe that was overshadowed there. I felt nothing. Sometimes I feel nothing. I don't feel like worthlessness. I don't feel. Loss of interest or pleasure in hobbies and activities. Did I feel that? Yes. Over time, you end up losing the interest on the things that you on the things that you used to like. The hobbies that used to make you happy, you lose interest on all of them, and there's nothing you're feeling. Like I said, you're feeling nothing. So, fatigue, lack of energy, feeling slowed down. Did I experience that every day? I think I have experienced that somehow every day. In a week, I would experience lack of energy like 6 days in 7 days. It's a very consistent energy, and you like have to pull yourself to do normal things. You have to really push yourself really hard to do normal things. Fatigue, you do. And I think fatigue is because your brain is overworking. Your brain is overworking. When you're trapped in this situation, it's your brain that is working a lot, so you definitely is gonna be fatigued, feeling slowed down, guys. Let me tell you, I hope I'm going to be able to tag a video here that I did earlier on. If you're going to watch that video, you will realize that the speed is not normal because I increased the speed of that video. I was sounding so slow, and I have become better in the past few days since I started making these videos. It has become better. You may not experience this if you haven't had depression for a long time. I have had mine for over 10 years. So that is why I guess that is how I got myself to the point where I can experience this particular feeling of slowed down. And by that, I mean really walking slowly, like you're walking and you feel like your body, your motion is sluggish, okay? And then your talking becomes sluggish as well. You're talking slowly. And I said I'm going to tag here a video. Maybe you can go watch that video. I don't think I have the original of it because I keep deleting files because of my, storage. But I experienced that where my voice as well, my talking was so slow that I could notice it myself. Okay. So this one, depression is affecting the brain. Like it's getting sick in the head. Like oh my God, what are the words that I'm looking for? It's the sickness of the brain. It's the brain that is getting sick, okay? So if the brain is sick, you realize that a lot of nerves are powered by the brain. So it means that a lot of things might change. Your muscles are controlled by the nerves that are okay. People who did biology are about to come for me. So technically, if you're having an issue with the brain, it's going to manifest in most of your activities. So difficulty concentrating, difficulty concentrating, remembering, and making decisions. I definitely have been struggling with that. I struggle, like for example, when I was making this video, you will not believe how long it has taken me to plan everything, to come up, to do the research and stuff. But I didn't struggle as much as I did in earlier videos, okay? So I am improving, and that is because I have become intentional on improving the brain. Luckily, you can really work on your brain. Luckily, you can really rejuvenate your brain. So you should not feel like all is lost, all is not lost. You can really do much more than you think. Your brain is the most powerful part of your body. And the minute you realize that, you can overcome anything. So, change in appetite or unplanned weight loss. Did I experience that? Absolutely. Absolutely. Today I was realizing that since the year began, I have refilled my 6 kgs gas once. And I mean, I did refill it towards the beginning of the year. So you can that one and by the way, I do not do a lot of takeaways because where I live there's no restaurant near the apartment that you would go there to like be eating from every day. I don't always go to the supermarket to do shopping. So what it's telling you is edibles in my house are not they are not a regular. It's not because of anything. It's because I did okay. Right now, I'm doing much better. There's a time I would lose appetite completely because I remember there's a time I would go to buy something in the shop when I am so hungry that I cannot be able to walk back to the house. There's this particular time I woke up in the morning and I was going to get breakfast and I was walking. Okay, I got to the shop and I asked her to give me bread and I was going to pay through M-Pesa. So I was trying to pay and I felt really weak. So I leaned on the counter. I gave her the phone to fill her details so that I can put the PIN. And once I paid, I left the shop. I just stepped outside and I couldn't make another step. And I just had to ask her to call a motorbike for me to carry me to about 200 meters distance. Anyways, I'm just trying to tell you, it can be a great challenge. And during a certain period of time, I really experienced a lot of weight loss, a lot of it. It just came all of a sudden, and I was losing weight. So yes, did I experience that? I did experience that. Physical aches, pains, headaches, cramps, digestive problems without a clear physical cause that do not go away with treatment. Physical aches, I have experienced physical aches. Some of them you've never experienced them before, and you really do not even know how you can explain to a doctor that pain feels like. So yes, you would experience physical aches. Like of recent days of pain that I had felt. Anyways, I'm not about to give you those details. Headaches, I think people get headaches. There is a time I used to get headaches. I haven't been getting headaches lately, but I know that it's something that people get. Digestive problems, that one is something. That one, the problem is right there. Because tell me why you are eating a healthy, balanced meal. But anyways, sometimes when you're having appetite issues, it means that it will definitely somehow affect your digestive somehow. And yeah, that's a problem. I won't go into the depth of it. However, I have recently been eating very healthy, so you do not need to be alarmed. Thoughts of death and suicide or suicide attempts. I think this is the most notorious for people with depression. However, personally, I must thank the gods because I have never felt that I need to exit. I have never felt like that. It's not like I from a distance, you feel the thought of maybe it would be better if I wasn't here. But for me, I have a very strong will for life. The worst that ever happened to me during my entire journey with depression was feeling like I don't care about what will happen tomorrow. I don't care about what will happen. I'm just there. I'm just there, maybe not feeling anything at all. But to feel like I want to exit, I think I never. I think even the times that I have really put in a lot of efforts is when I was trying to avoid anything regarding exiting because I'm not going anywhere. The way I have trust issues, you cannot even trust that where you are going after living here is going to be any better. My trust issues are that bad. I can't even believe that that place that they say is good because it's men. Remember, it is men who tell us about heaven because it was Moses who was speaking to God, and God is also a man. Somehow I give him benefits of doubt, but I can't say for sure that I really believe that I can risk living here so that I can go there. No. Mm-mm. I can't. I'm gonna wait for my time. Yeah, so but that one is an issue. I agree, it's an issue. Now, the other question that people have been asking from my SEO, search engine optimization, is at what age can you get depressed? Ooh.